Social anxiety. I know we have all been there. I have been there so many times. And so I was inspired today to make a video to help you out if you are in this boat. So if you want to find out my 3 tips for overcoming your social anxiety, then be sure to keep watching. What's up guys? Welcome back. My name is Jen. I am a spiritual life and business coach, and you have found my YouTube channel where I create 2 new videos every week all about combining spirituality and practical tips together so that you can create your best life. If that is something you're interested in, and who doesn't want to live their best life, then be sure to go ahead and join me and hit that subscribe button. As I mentioned on this channel before, I was a painfully shy kid. I'm talking, I would literally cry rather than meet a brand new stranger. Like, I was really shy. And for a long time, I held on to this identity of being the shy, painfully awkward child. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys today that if you met me in real life, most of the time I'm not awkward. Most of the time I get it together, and most of the time I can be a person that I hope is enjoyable to have a conversation with, but it was definitely not this way. And to this day, I continue to suffer from social anxiety from time to time. Especially, say for example, the first 15 minutes of going to a party or walking into a bar, or especially going to a new establishment like to meet somebody. These things do not come easily to me. And I know I've been making a lot of videos about spirituality and principles about that nature, but today I wanted to do a straight up personal development video, a little bit of self-love today, and give you some advice on how you can start to overcome your social anxiety. Because as we all know from watching my videos by now, hopefully, all of this anxiety is really generated from inside of us. And the first thing that I want you to be aware of before we dive into the tips themselves is that labeling yourself as an anxious person is probably not doing you any favors. So for one thing, throw that out there. Do not say I'm a socially anxious person. Do not say I have social awkwardness. You are experiencing these things. You are not those things. So don't over-identify yourself with them, because then they will become part of your identity and it'll be way more difficult for you to overcome them. So that's the first principle. There's a difference between who you are as a human and the emotions and bodily sensations that you sometimes experience. The second thing I want you to know is that it is totally normal to have social anxiety, and it does not have any bearing on who you are as a person. I'm sure that you are smart, intelligent, funny, lovely, cute, all the things, and your anxiety has no bearing on them. So anxiety is really just one of our brain's ways of protecting us. Our brain is hardwired to look for danger. Our brain is hardwired to keep us in a bit of a fear mode, because that is the way it can keep us safe, by not allowing us to do anything. So this is all just a trick of what's in here, and it is not anything to do with what is actually happening in the world. So when you realize that your anxiety is completely based from yourself, that will also help you to get over it and to understand that you can continue to live your life even with your socially awkward feelings. Okay, now that I've said all that, let's dive into the tips themselves. And the very first tip that I want to give you today, and this is a good one to remember if, like me, you are so awkward in those first 15 minutes at a party or at a bar or at a restaurant or whatever, just remember that not everyone is looking at you. So it might feel like when you walk into a new establishment that the entire place turns around and checks you out, but I can assure you that that is probably not what is actually happening. Maybe if you fell down a staircase and knocked a bunch of glasses over and got everyone's attention at once, maybe then that would be the case. But most of us walk into a new place just like everybody else, and not everybody turns to look at us. We have created this weird spotlight feeling in our brain. We feel like everyone's making fun of us. We feel like everyone thinks that we don't belong, but that is actually not the case. That is all coming from inside of us. So it's really important to remember that you simply arriving somewhere is not time for everyone to stop and stare and judge you. The judgments are coming from inside you. They're call is coming from within the house, you guys. So you need to keep it cool and remember that. Tip number 2 for dealing with social anxiety is to remember that it's all temporary. So one of the funny things about being a human is that we spend so much of our life trying to outrun our uncomfortable feelings. And the funny thing is, we spend way longer trying to outrun these feelings than we would actually have the feeling if we just let it happen. So when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to feeling awkward in a new place, it is totally okay. It is okay to acknowledge to yourself, I am feeling anxious. I'm having anxiety about this. My body feels anxious. It feels this energy. It feels weird. When you acknowledge it and when you let it happen, you can experience that emotion, as weird and uncomfortable as it might be, and understand that this emotion is going to go away. So another way that you can think about this is if you've been angry at something, but you're trying not to be angry about something, and instead you are a little bit angry for hours and hours and hours and hours. Whereas if you had just let yourself be angry in the moment and say the thing you wanted to say, you probably wouldn't be stewing in it for a very long time, right? You would experience the anger for 5 minutes maybe, and then you would move on, as opposed to bringing it along with you. And the same thing applies to the anxiety. If you know that you are anxious, and if you know that this is something that happens to you every time, you can just sit with it quietly and sit in the corner and let yourself calm down and let the anxiety subside, and it will subside. If you are okay with it, if you stop fighting it, if you know that it's there and you know what it is, and you don't go into panic mode, it is going to go away so much faster than you trying to fight it. Okay, my third and final tip for you guys in how to beat your social anxiety is to ask questions. So this is the way you can charm a room and take these theoretical spotlight off of yourself. But anytime you're in a new situation, whether you are with people you've known for a long time or whether you're with a bunch of strangers who you've just met, the number one best way for you to start to feel secure and to start to create connection with people and to start to be, the star of the party is simply to start asking people questions. Everybody loves to talk about themselves, and if you are feeling awkward, why not use that as an opportunity to take the pressure off of you? Ask your best friend what they did today. Ask this new person what they do for a living, or what they're planning to do this weekend, or ask them something, ask them anything, and keep asking them questions. People will automatically like you more if you keep talking to them and asking them questions. People love to have the attention on them. So this is the number one trick that will automatically take the pressure off of you. You don't have to tell a hilarious story. You don't have to do all these things that you think will make you likable. All you have to do is be interested in other people. And you can do that by asking them questions and listening. And everybody can do that. Everybody has the capacity to listen and ask questions. And by doing that, not only will the person you're with feel more awkward, they will like you more, and you will start to feel more confident. The more you do this, the easier it gets. So go ahead, try this, take your perspective off of yourself, and in turn also make yourself more appealing to the people around you. And I swear to God, this one works so well. So that's it. What did you guys think? Like I said at the beginning of this video, I am no stranger to the world of social anxiety, and every once in a while we need a little, reminder of how we can get over this. So as always, you are in control of your emotions, and all anxiety is really just a collection of thoughts up in here. I can do a whole video about that, and maybe I will. But you are in control and you can overcome this. So please do not let your anxiety get the best of you in any situation. You have the power and the tools to overcome it. Okay, so if you have any questions, if you have any comments, go ahead and drop them below. I love to hear from you guys. If you like this video, give it a like. I would really appreciate your help in growing my little channel here. If you want to learn more, you can go ahead and click my latest upload here. And if you want to hang out for the long haul, hit subscribe right here. Other than that, I'll be back in the next one. So until then, I'm wishing you an amazing, confident week. And if you need a little help from a life coach, I'm always here to guide you through that. Just remember, as always, get ready for the miracle. See you guys.